Okay, so now I've finished the element class, so I thought I'd just step you through what makes up the element class. So like before, we have our two fields. We have our type, which is private, and we have our double, which is a value, which is going to be how many amps or how many volts or how much power or whatever we've got with this element. So we've got two constructors, one that takes a string that then creates the element object from that string, and another constructor which takes, this one down here on line 18, another constructor which takes the type, whether it's U, I, or P, as well as a value as a double. Okay, so this one here, this constructor is the easy one to do, and this is used primarily when we solve a problem in the problem class. So this is our element, so our element constructor, which when we give it a string, we need to get out of that string the character at the beginning, which defines the type, as well as a value out of it as well. So we've got to basically take a substring from the second character to the end of the string -1, because on the end of the string we have either volts or amps or watts, so we don't want that included, and we don't want the letter and the equals included, so it's from the second character to the end -1. But we take a substring and then we turn that into a double, which gives us our value that we need. So the two-string method we kind of looked at already. You'll notice I've changed the unit to an actual method now, because I thought it would be easier to describe that with a method instead of actually in a field. So we've got our two accessors, or our two getters, the get type and the get value that we had before. And now I've got a method called getUnit that instead of just returning a value and a character, I simply just get it to return A, V, or W depending on what the type is, what kind of element type it is, and then I return that. Okay. So that's pretty much the element object. So just to see whether in fact that element object actually works properly, what I'm going to do now is actually created a class called testElement simply to test it. So I've gone and I've created a new element, okay, and I've got a reference called LE of the element, and I've used the string constructor, so I've given it I equals 10 amps, and then what I've done is I'm simply going to print out that object. So the constructor will actually decompose that into a type and a value, and then when I print it out, it should then recombine the type and the value into a string. So we'll see whether in fact that actually works. So let's run it. So Java test element. You'll see it's printed out I equals 10.0 amps, which is what we expected. So it's correctly found the type to be I, and it's correctly found the value, and it's correctly put the unit back on there. So it's reconstructed it into a string. So it's taken it from a string, put it into the object, and then returned it back into a string via the two-string method. So that's generally the approach that you do when you create a class. You create a very small program to test it, and when you're successful that's tested, then it's time to move on. So now that we've confirmed that the element class actually works properly, we're now going to move on and focus on the problem class. So it's a top-up implementation. So we've done element now, we've tested it, made sure it worked properly. Now we're going to move on to the problem class and build that.